Hello, and welcome to the Thyroid Warrior podcast. I'm Ebony, and I'm here as your wellness facilitator. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in managing Hashimoto's disease. I really hope that it'll help you on your personal journey. Keep in mind, however, this does not substitute for medical advice. It is only for your information and motivational purposes only. Now, let's get started. Hello, friends. Now that we have spent some time talking about burnout and talking about how to really and truly just live your life to be happy, I want to shift focus a bit, and I want to talk to you about literally rebuilding yourself. And that is why it was so important for me to lay that foundation of being honest about talking about burnout, because we all know 2020 has been a year. But what I want to be able to do is get us back to a point where we feel good about functioning and having our day to day. So what better way to do that than by rebuilding our gut? And yes, I know I started the year off talking about micro and macronutrients and breaking nutrition down. And I want to go back to it because it's not something that you just talk about once. And there are also things that I have gone through. There are things that I have explored with my doctor. There are new things that I'm reading and researching and learning about. So obviously, I'm going to constantly come back and talk about those things with you. And I have gone through, especially over the summertime, and I was reading a lot. And one book that I absolutely positively love is called Fiber Fuel. And that's by Dr. V, because I know that I will butcher his last name and I want to be respectful of that. But I will link to the name of his book in the show notes. But we're going to focus on this book specifically over the next couple of weeks, especially as we're going into the holiday season. Raise your hand if you are already anxious about it. And granted, we all have that kind of low grade level of stress just baking in the background, but holidays tend to add another element of anxiety that you and I know very, very well. And it's also hard because many of us may not be spending it the way that we traditionally do. And that's adding yet another element of surprise to the mix because of the COVID-19 virus. So let's go back. Let's start off with the basic building blocks. So many of you know that stress can trigger your thyroid or autoimmune condition. And we have talked at length about how I've built my gut health back. And that is really the focus of Fiber Fueled, in case the name doesn't really give it away. But I want to spend some time talking about that because right now, I don't know about you, but for me personally, I have had to constantly readjust the way that I was eating, the way that I was doing things, and pretty much my entire life, right? So here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to start the process of talking about dysbiosis, or kind of the loss of balance within your gut. And that is so important, and it matters a lot from a thyroid perspective because your gut, or your second brain, is also your largest endocrine organ. Many things are produced in the gut, from serotonin to dopamine, and those things do play a part in just the rest of our endocrine function. So I'm going back and talking about this because our gut is also our second brain, as I said before, but we just need to get back to us. And remember, in the last couple of episodes of me talking, when you get to that point where you're burned out, many times you're often a giver. So you're giving and giving and giving, and you're going and you're going and you're going, but you don't necessarily take the time to nurture yourself and make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to stay well. And as a result, so many things kind of fall to the wayside, because honestly, when's the last time you actually talked to your healthcare provider? For many of us, that answer may be a long time ago, or you may not even remember. And we all know how difficult it can be to find a good practitioner, but right now we're currently in this wave of trying to navigate good website manner, so to speak. So the strain is even more present than what it was before. So let's jump right into the topic about why I'm going back to gut health. And it's very, very simple. Stress is really at the core of a lot of what's going on right now, whether you're stressed out about your job, you're stressed about your family, about everything going on in the world. I've had quite a few deaths come up for me lately, and our bodies are just stricken with so much. And I want to help you build things back up again. And that's why I'm starting with fiber, because fiber is so sexy. And I want to share that with you and talk to you about why that is. So I'm going to break down some topics related to it in bite-sized pieces. So every week we're going to talk about an aspect of why fiber is so great for you. So when we have this imbalance, so to speak, we know that the good bacteria tend to fall to the wayside and the bad bacteria come in and wreak havoc. So one of the things that I have really had an issue with in the past, and you guys have heard all about it when I talked about having IBS, is that your colon during this process now doesn't have that protection in the form of your good bacteria. And so all of these various inflammatory bugs or just bad things are really just taking over. And those tight junctions that I talked about before that really kind of keep your colon wall together, they're kind of gone. And that is what causes that permeability or that leaky gut that many of us have heard about. And that's when you have all of that bacteria or those endotoxins kind of seeping into your bloodstream, and it's just bad. And hello, inflammation. And when you're thinking about this, one of the things that you may be asking is, well, what are the symptoms of it? Because you may be sharing this episode with a loved one, and hello, if this is your first time kind of listening to me and going on this journey with me, and it's a lot that can go down. So as you've been going along and you know your nutrition may not have been as good as you know it could be, think of these symptoms of having gas, bloating. All of a sudden you're sensitive to food and you're noticing mucus in your stool if you actually kind of turn around and look in the toilet. And if you have not done that, in all honesty, I'm not even joking, get in the habit of checking your stool, because it tells a lot about your overall health. And there's something about seeing the mucus for yourself instead of just reading about it or hearing about it that can really light a fire under you and really and truly make you think twice about what you're doing. And you guys know, with my dad dealing with stage 4 colon cancer, I have gotten very acquainted with doing those checks and just understanding why our gut health is so important. So don't be grossed out by it. We really need to get to know our bodies, and we need to know what goes in and what goes out. So also, even when you're thinking about well, I've been trying to lose weight and I can't lose weight. The brain fog, the fatigue, and having issues concentrating, which in this new virtual world, we all have experienced that. And even having issues of being congested. That's also something that isn't always talked about, but it's important and it's real. So I really want to set the stage in terms of showing you where we're going. And one thing that I really want to talk about are these things called short chain fatty acids. And that is how we are going to really start this conversation about working on our gut health. And it's a real and amazing thing to see how you can go from just feeling horrible to feeling like yourself again. And I know because I've done this, I have gone through this book in its entirety and I love everything about it. And it's definitely pushing me back towards that plant-based lifestyle. But one thing that there are, I would say 3 main types of short chain fatty acids, and they're all just amazing things. But what I want to also kind of set up for you is talking about pre, pro, and postbiotics. And oftentimes we hear about probiotics, how they're so great for us, but we don't really put all the pieces together. And again, I know I talked about this in a podcast episode before, but I want to, for this purpose or this series that we're talking about, I want to reintroduce them. Think about your prebiotics as the food. That is what's going to really and truly get your gut microbes just happy and excited to do all of the things that we need them to do in order to keep us healthy. And then the probiotics, they're those microbes that have all those good qualities and benefits to them. And then postbiotics are produced by those gut microbes. So the equation that I love that Dr. B has in the book is prebiotics plus probiotics equals postbiotics. So I really love this process, and it's really going to, I think, change the way that I think about my health, because I was introduced to this when I was studying for my holistic nutrition certification. But even when I started reading this book about it, it just made me so excited. And I'm going to read to you one of the lines, or several of the lines rather, from when he's talking about short chain fatty acids and just fiber in general. And it reads, eating fiber also increases the diversity of species within the gut. These beneficial effects are what qualify it as a prebiotic. The prebiotic effects of fiber feed and nourish the healthy microbes in our gut. So he goes further to say those reinvigorated microbes release short-chain fatty acids from fiber to heal the colon. First, the short-chain fatty acids do as their name suggests and make the colon more acidic. This change prevents the growth of inflammatory pathogenic bacteria, the bad guys. Next, short-chain fatty acids take it a step further and directly suppress dangerous strains like E. coli and Salmonella. So when you have the fiber, and that really comes from eating a diversity of plants. And the more I think about it, the more I learn about it, and the more I understand the inflammatory response and how we really and truly keep our bodies in balance. This is so cool, guys. So how do you get more short chain fatty acids, and how do you help your body to get to a point where it's actually doing what it needs to do? And the very simple answer is by eating more plants. And every plant has its own microbiome, and that diversity is what is really and truly going to help our digestive systems get stronger. And when you often have one autoimmune condition or you have issues with your gut, it typically leads to a lot of different things. But the more you consume those fruits and vegetables that build up your immune system through your gut, it's like muscle memory, right? So as you're eating and introducing your body to more of these foods, your body is getting better at creating these microbes that are just going to strengthen you and help you feel better and give you more energy and fight that fatigue and get rid of all of the yucky bacteria that can cause harm to us. So before I continue to get really excited, because that's definitely happening and I don't want to lose you, I'm going to stop there. And the cliffhanger is real, but in the next episode, I'm going to be talking to you about, I call it a Taste the Rainbow challenge. And I kind of did this after reading this book, and it was really cool just to see, because let's be honest, I'm competitive. I'm not going to lie. So I wanted to see how many different kinds of fruits and vegetables I can get on my plate every day. I did this for a week straight and it was so much fun. And if you follow me on social media, you'll also notice that I have a lot of mixed fruit or different veggie plates and all that fun stuff. And that was around the time when I was doing this Taste the Rainbow challenge, I call it. So I'm going to challenge you to do the same. I want you to take some time and look at what you're eating this week. And I know it's election time, so everybody's diet kind of went out the window. But I want you to sit down and take some time and just think about, what do you want to eat in the next week or so? And again, I know Thanksgiving is coming up, but I'm also going to challenge you, because we have to start doing something different if we want a different outcome, and if we want to get rid of that fatigue and that brain fog and all of those things that are keeping us from being our best selves. So yeah, I'm challenging you, but I love you, and that's why I do what I do. And next week, I'm also going to be showing you and talking a little bit more about the very specific components of the different fruits and vegetables that give them their umphness. But I also want to share some very good news with you guys. And as of Tuesday of this week, I am now a certified aromatherapist. And with that, I talked about this, and it was really a soft launch a couple months ago, but I am launching Sula Beauty Co. That is going to be available as of 11/11. And Sula Beauty Co. is my handmade body products shop. You can go there. You can visit joyfulebony.com/handmade. I do have the site up and available right now, but there are going to be tons of things being added to it. And it is also where I'm going to host a lot of my classes and just different things related to aromatherapy. And it is also what has informed how I design my body products as well. So with that, check it out. You can also check it out at Sula, that is SOULA Beauty Co. on Instagram. And you can always visit me at Joyful Ebony on all social media platforms. So with that, my challenge to you is think about the fruits and vegetables that you want to consume over the next week or so. And then we're going to jump into what I call the Taste the Rainbow challenge. So with that, be happy, be whole, and be well. Take care. Okay, thyroid warriors, get out there and take things one step at a time. Remember, be great, reflect on your triumphs, and as always, be well. Take care.